bust it.
Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.
Let me show you something. Hold on and get some, boys. That is why they compete.
Welcome to Lords of the Long Box. Welcome to the top 10 long-term spec books. That's right. We got a top 10 list like we like to do. And let me do a quick introduction to the crew. My boy, Darkside Jedi. Say what's up to the people.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Top 10 long-term specs. Let's get to it. This is exciting.
Yeah. Also, my man Otto from the Grotto. Say what's up.
What up to all my Autobots out there? We love lists here at Lords of the Long Box, so we got some good stuff for you right now, so stick around.
Yeah, we do. My man, Nemesis Prime. I almost called you Otto. I know you guys are fighting over Autobots and shit.
What's up, guys? We're ready to spec on deck, so let's get these books right
on deck. I was going to say spec D's, but so I tried to explain this as much as I could to you. The secret Kabbalah collectors, they call this a reserve list. That's what they refer to. They've been going off this list for a while now. So if you ever see books just jump in price for no reason at all, well, there's because Marvel and DC put I would probably say at the head studio level, meaning Kevin Feige and Warner Brothers, whenever they want to develop something, they put it on hold so that two competing divisions won't put it into development, right? So for Marvel, Kevin Feige put a hold on it, so Jeff Loeb couldn't use it on Marvel TV, that being Hulu now, or it used to be Netflix. Same with Warner Brothers. They put a hold on something, so Warner Brothers Studio also puts the first dibs on it. They put a hold on it. If they don't put a hold on it or take it off hold, that means that CW can use it or DC Animation can use it. And that's what the first one on this list is kind of interesting because it's a temporary permission. What is that first book, Ryan?
Iron Man number 54. What can you tell us about it, Otto?
Well, Iron Man 54 is the first appearance of Moondragon as Madam McEvil, all right? So this is a great book. Came out in 1973, Iron Man 54. Now, this is a book that we talk about a lot because this is a Roy Thomas book. Roy Thomas was the editor at the time. And the writer, Bill Everett, was involved in it. Mike Friedrich was involved. And you've got, George Tuska did the penciling. So Vince Coletta was the inker, too. So you've got a lot of information about this book. So
it almost sounds like a McDonald's villain, like Madam McEvil.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
McDouble or some crap.
Right, and I'll talk about the next character, the next iteration of her after Ryan tells us a little bit about that.
Well, I'll let Justin tell you a little bit about that. And what you mean by that is prices.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, Iron Man 54, obviously Iron Man 55 is the huge book, but with Iron Man 54, I mean, you're looking at the last sale came out at 9.2 for $625, and GPA on this book in a 9.2 is only $427, so it's going up. It's definitely in the positives.
Yeah, because you know what? The funny thing is everybody thinks that's the first Moondragon.
Right.
When actually it's the first Moondragon, but they don't even call her that till this next comic, which is
Daredevil 105.
Right. Yeah, how many of you knew that she was actually called Moondragon in Daredevil number 105? I have that. It's a great little run of Daredevil books. What can you tell us about this book?
Well, funny story, because this came out 11 months after she came out as Madam McEvil. So Roy Thomas was still the editor at the time, and he knew that this was a cool character. So Roy tweaked her a little bit, changed the name up to something pretty cool. It's from Madam McEvil to
Moondragon. Doesn't have a nice ring to it.
You really can't say it, Ramita did the cover, Don Heck was on it, and it's just a good book, and it's a classic Daredevil cover for that age. So just a really cool book.
Is there any sales data on this, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, this book is easy to come by as far as looking at prices. I mean, you can get anywhere from a 9 to a 9.2, 9.4 is under $100. Raws, I mean, you might as well just go for it. It's anywhere between $20 to $40. So whether it's BF near mint or, very fine, easily findable on eBay.
Yeah, nice. What's great about this is like, everybody buys up 54, then you buy up 105. I mean, Moondragon obviously is tied to Guardians of the Galaxy. She's tied to Warlock. She's tied to Thanos. I mean, there's a lot of ties from Moondragon. So it kind of makes sense how if Marvel's going cosmic that they want to use this. And also on the spec list, we try to break them up. So Moondragon is being put reserved for film. The next one is being reserved for TV. And who was this next one, Otto? Ryan?
Well, I have a question.
Oh, yes. You do.
Touche. Well played,
Is it
sir.
Blue Beetle #1?
That's
Yes,
right.
it
Blue
is.
Beetle #1.
This
So-
one is interesting. So this is a hold that they put on for TV, meaning that, hey, we want to do something with this in the TV. So this is Blue Beetle #1, and this is the Charlton Comics version, not the DC Comics. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, Charlton Comics, 1967. Steve Ditko, for all my Ditko fans out there. This is Steve Ditko when he had moved on. He's doing something different. And this is what's unique about this book. This is your first appearance, first issue book. And
Albeit it's a first issue of Blue Beetle, but it's the first appearance of the question. Yeah, I don't think this is the first appearance of Blue Beetle as well.
No.
he's like an older book. Yeah.
Older Charlton book, right?
There is something to note, and be careful when looking for this book. If you see a copy of this that has a logo that says modern, it's a big blue M and it says modern. That's actually a reprint.
That is correct.
So that's how you would tell between the reprint and the
right there at the bottom too. Who is the question? What's kind of pricing we looking on this, Justin? Any price data?
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a big book. I mean, I am actually looking for this book myself, but I mean, as far as you can get this book anywhere between 6.0s, 7.0s. Obviously, last sale was 8.0 for $300. GPA is about 295 on it. But as Otto said, I mean, first book, first appearance is always nice, even though it's not Blue Beetle. But hey, we'll take the question.
Yeah, and plus it's a Charlton book, pretty rare. It's Kirby. And I want to say, do your research on who the question is. This is when it's Ditko, right?
Yeah, Ditko.
Yeah, this is when Ditko was in that whole phase of bringing that weird kind of Ayn Rand thing he was going through. So the question is like his kind of political belief system of the day. So I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get too
the late 60s too.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, that character. But let's go on to
Well, we actually have an interesting side note that Justin added. DC number 52, or I'm sorry, DC 52 number 48 is actually the first appearance of the question Renee Montoya.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
That'd be another great book to have. See, a lot of these characters have been around so long that they get rebooted. A lot like remember we were going over Red Wolf and how many iterations of Red Wolf there was.
Well, Renee Montoya makes sense because of the Batwoman TV show. They are a love interest. They are a love interest in the comics. There's some sales information.
Let's look at
Very little, but it exists.
It's not a hard book to come by. I mean, this book was definitely easy to look for on eBay. I mean, again, $5 to $10, but this is definitely, obviously, this is one of our long-term spec books because, like Ryan said, I mean, she is a love interest to Kate Kane's Batwoman, and that is going to be on the DC CW. So, hey, look for her.
And if you're interested in the first appearance of Renee Montoya, it's Batman number 475.
Oh, interesting fact right there.
bonus
Look at the big brains.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the next one, man. I'm kind of excited about this, man.
Well, keep your panties in a bunch, hoser. Alpha Flight number 1.
Yeah, first, and it's not the Alpha Flight team per se, but Puck has been put on hold for something on TV. And when Marvel says something on TV, that can literally mean ABC, it can mean Hulu, it could also mean Disney Plus. So first appearance, great freaking book. First appearance, first book, right? Just first appearance, Puck. First issue of Alpha Flight, not the first appearance of Alpha Flight. That's an X-Men. But Puck is a rather interesting character. I just read today that they're coming out with a new Alpha Flight comic. So this gives credence to that whole. They come out with new comics and omnibuses and trades. Jim talked about that. They do omnibuses when they want to promote something. They're coming out with a new Alpha Flight book with an all-Canadian team: writer, artists, inkers, editor, everything.
Nice.
They're coming out. So. I'm pretty sure there's sales data on this, right? Why don't you give us a breakdown first, Otto, about Puck and Alpha Flight, if people.
Yeah, well, Alpha Flight came out in 1983, and this is when John Byrne. This is John Byrne all day, right? John Byrne gave the first appearance was in 120, 121 in X-Men. Then he promoted it enough, he talked it up enough. Then he got his first series, and for me as a kid, that 12th issue when Vindicator got killed was the first time. Yeah, right. Well, you know what? I should have realized this because he killed Dark Phoenix. He's going to kill Vindicator. John Byrne killed everybody. He tried to kill Superman. So just a great book, great fun book that came out in 1983, and it's all John Byrne. So
every
cool book.
Alpha Flight #1.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
What kind of sales data are we looking at this, Justin?
I mean, this is an easy book to find. I mean, it's, early 80s. If you guys are looking for this, I would say get this thing in a 9.8. Last sale is $150. GPA is a 137. So, hey, if you got an easy hundo, might as well go for that 9.8.
Yeah, 137 for 9.8. Why bother? Like we said, if it's going to cost you $50 to get it graded, shipped, to press total, and another $50 and get a 9.8. Why even tempt the gods? Is what I say. Like Ryan did.
That's right.
Speaking
I did.
of characters small in stature, this one is interesting. This is being put on hold for film.
Well, from Puck to Pip the Troll, Strange Tales 179.
And we just talked about this on our live show. This Strange Tales run is great Warlock run. It has first appearance of Pip the Troll, has first appearance of Magus, has the first appearance of Nebula. Not Nebula, excuse me, Gamora.
Gamora, yeah.
What else can you tell us about Pip the Troll here?
Pip the Troll, Strange Tales 179, came out in 1975. Unique about this is a good book too to get double signed because Marv Wolfman was the editor at the time. Starlin was the cover artist, and he was actually the writer and the penciler on this, and he did the inks. So this is Starlin and Wolfman. You can find this book. I'll let Justin talk about the prices, but Starlin and Wolfman are doing a lot of cons together this year. And just a great book that you might want to get double signed because it is a fun book and he's a cool character. So if you're going to have him sign one, you might as well have him sign two. Who knows? So, yeah.
Currently, I think he's dead. Pip the Troll died.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Pip and Puck
Spoiler
both dead.
alert.
Yeah. They're both dead, but they'll probably be brought back. What kind of sales data are we looking at this, Justin?
Last sale actually this month in a 9.4 went for $172. But I mean, eBay, I mean, you can find this book anywhere between $25 to $50, and I'm sure that actual price would change if you had that double signed.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure this is ever since Warlock was teased at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, all the ancillary characters that are in Warlock's orbit, pun intended, like Pip the Troll and all Magus, all those books started going up in price. 172 for 9.4, that's pretty high. I was surprised to see it that high, but I would say since Guardians of the Galaxy 2, this entire run of Strange Tales, the Marvel Premiere Warlock run, the Warlock solo series, all of them have been, have spiked in price, but it's a great book to have in your collection, I would say. And next up is something we actually talked about that's coming to the MCU in a weird kind of way, a different era, perhaps.
Yeah, we don't have any graphics on this one, but we're talking about the Rawhide Kid for this.
Yeah. So we talked about this, that Marvel wants to go and use some of their Western properties. And we talked specifically the Two Gun Kid, which an interesting Marvel property that I was actually an Atlas comic property is Rawhide Kid. Rawhide Kid #1 came out in 1955 under Atlas Comics. Marvel ended up buying Atlas, and another appearance they did. So the first appearance of the Marvel Rawhide Kid is Rawhide Kid #17. It came out in 1960. So basically, Marvel just kept on the same numbering. They put their Marvel tag on it, and they just said, "Hey, we're just call it Rawhide 17." It's one of those weird ones where it's not a first issue, but it's the first in Marvel.
Right. And it's a really cool book. Stan Lee did it. Kirby did the pencils on it. It was inked by Dick Ayers. And, he's on the cover of it. And it's a very classic cowboy cover done by Kirby. So
for
really
superheroes,
cool.
Hey, man, kids were all about Westerns, cowboys and Indians, man. It was huge. You don't got any sales data on this, do you, Justin?
No, man, this one, there's nothing going on in this book. I couldn't even find anything on eBay.
And that's why it's a great book. All these Two Gun Kid, Rawhide Kid, these are great spec books because you can't find them. So, I mean, anytime you can find Golden, Silver Age, little weird like horror books or cowboy books, snatch them up. That's what I say. Right?
Yeah,
for sure.
Especially done by Kirby.
The sixth one on the list, this is being held for a film, and this one is way out there.
It is very way out there. But don't throw shade on DC.
Oh, I think there.
Shadowing.
Shade the Changing Man, #1.
I know nothing about this book, so I'll let Otto talk about it.
I know a little bit more, but it's still not a lot. Shade the Changing Man came out in 1977, and this is a Ditko book also. So this is what Ditko is again showing his political views in a different way. And we all know, if you've ever watched The Lords of the Long Box, when we did our tribute to Ditko, his methodology of thinking and the way he viewed things was, you know, in the Ayn Rand kind of mentality of it. So Shade the Changing Man, you've got to find. I've never read it, but I'd love to see it because, like I said, over the years I've become a huge Ditko fan, and I'm wondering if Justin actually got any intel on this. Justin.
Yeah, I mean this book is easy to find. I mean, as you can see, I mean, again, if you have an easy $100 laying around, might as well go buy a 9.8 because that's the last sale, and the GPA is $114. And what's actually interesting about Shade the Changing Man, a couple years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, they actually did Shade the Changing Girl, which is so that book is easily just you could find that at cover price. So they could introduce her as well. So be on the lookout for that.
Speaking of obscure comics, we already talked about this on one of our shows. We'll talk about it again.
Dakota North.
Everybody snatched them up. Dakota North #1 is being held, and we already know that ABC is doing a Dakota North TV show for ABC proper. Yes, it's weird. It's kind of like moonlighting, and we talked about it already. Has any sales data at it changed at all, Justin?
Not really. I mean, everyone's still looking on eBay. I mean, $5 to $13.
Hey, people are buying them up.
So if you look, I've got what's showing right here because if we're going to talk about it, we're going to be about it.
9.8.
So I picked up the 9.8. I got it for under $100, and even if you could get a raw, plus the time, plus your shipping and stuff like that, so you might as well get it. I like the fact that ABC proper is picking this up because this is a very like Cagney and Lacey kind of moonlighting.
Yeah, they need something, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. may be going away soon. Peggy Carter. So, this is Carter. It's perfect for ABC, right?
Right, absolutely.
I would say there's a Canadian variant out there that's 95 cents. I think if this book takes off, that Canadian variant will be hot. Similar to Amazing Spider-Man 252, the Canadian variant for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, any Canadian variants are hot in any book. Yeah,
simply because the print run is super small. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares about the actual price on it, but it's the print run, and it's a little bit different. Hey, look at this thing. So this show was supposed to happen before our live show where we just dropped all the news for San Diego Comic-Con. So we're kind of doing this in reverse, but the next book on this list, we already talked about.
If you watched the show, you would have already known.
On our long-term spec list.
Green Lantern #4.
Short-term spec list is what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
And for fear of repeating ourselves, what can you tell us about Green Lantern 141, the first appearance of Omega Man Auto?
Yeah, it's a Marv Wolfman book. Joe Stanton did it. It was their cameo. It was their trial run to see if they would get their own TV show. Or not TV show. I apologize for that. I'm going into Lobo. It was to see if they would stand their own. The team would to get their own comic book, which they eventually did, done by Keith Geffen. So, classic book, and we've talked about on Lords, but Justin would probably be more important with the sales data on this one.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing you're missing, Otto, this is actually a George Perez cover. So there it is again. Double signed, but right now 9.8 went for $328. eBay, they're going for between $10 and $30. But like I said, double signed. This could be a nice long-term spec book.
That's a great idea.
There you go. Say we're gonna have to move this off the long-term spec to the short-term spec because of the news that we just broke before the show.
That's probably true. And if you haven't watched the show, go back and watch Wednesday's show.
Yeah, Wednesday, because this will probably be on Saturday. We're still trying to figure that out. Yeah. Here's the next one that's really weird.
I've never even heard of this character, but I will show you guys anyway. Superman #167.
And what's cool is this is an old Superman book. This is the first appearance of Vril Dox, who I keep on looking and thinking it's Brainiac or some version of the Legion of Super Friends. What can you tell us about Vril Dox? This is being put on hold for TV. So this could be anywhere. This could be Krypton. This could be CW. This could be DC Universe. This could be WB Streaming. First of all, who the hell is Vril Dox?
I really couldn't tell you because it seems to be some type of alien character that had something to do with Superman. But he went through a few iterations here. So Edmund Hamilton was a writer. Kurt Swan, pretty good DC writer. DC artist back in the day, was the artist at the time. And then it went through a revamp where Keith Geffen, Bill Mantlo, and Todd McFarlane got in on this character. So, Todd McFarlane had some background to this. And Bill Mantlo also, too. And, unfortunately, Bill Mantlo fell on hard times and stuff like that. So, but, Keith Geffen, too, who's getting older. So, if you can find this book, go ahead, go for it. But, you've got two different versions of them.
There's got to be sales date on this, right, Justin?
Yeah, unfortunately, no CGC stuff. But I mean, eBay. I mean, you're looking anywhere between $15 to $70 just to add on autos. So this is he's Brainiac too. That's who he's first introduced as,
Ah,
and then
see, I
in
knew it.
the DC Invasion miniseries that they did the crossover recently.
That's where Todd McFarlane comes in. Todd McFarlane did the art for Invasion.
Yeah, so he was then introduced as Vril Drax, as he says he's revamped as a different character, more as a more modern character. So whether we're going to get more Brainiac 2 for Krypton, or we're going to get Vril Drax as the revamped version. So we'll have to wait and see.
That makes sense that they put on hold for TV, and I think it's going to Krypton because I think they're really high on the Krypton show. So this last one is the interesting one that I was alluding to at the beginning. This one has a temporary permission for TV, meaning they're saying, hey, go ahead and use it now, but we may be wanting to use it on the movies. What is it? Everybody knows this book.
All-Star Comics number 58.
Classic book.
Appearance.
Favorite female heroine with the questionable cutout of her uniform that everybody seems to like to draw.
That's
Also,
right.
Comics number 58, DC Comics numbers 1976, the most famous cousin in comics. What can you tell us about Power Girl?
No, Power Girl, great book for DC artists. All right, great book. So Jerry Conway was the editor at the time. And this cover art, this is a Mike Grell cover. Mike Grell doesn't do a lot of shows, you guys. I mean, Mike Grell for his Green
Grendel,
Arrow
right?
work. What's that?
Did he do Grendel? Mike
He
Grell?
did Grendel, absolutely. He definitely did. He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the inker, this was actually inked by Wally Wood at the time, and we all know that Wally Wood passed a little. Yes, Wally Wood passed away a little bit after that. So Wally Wood was definitely a tormented soul when it comes to his personal life. But just a great book, and you've got some keys here. You've got Grell, Conway, and Wally. So just a nice book. I don't own this book, unfortunately. Now the more I'm talking in, I'm kind of ashamed that I don't.
Well, you're going for pricing on this book. I mean, you can get, last sale was a 9.4, $275. GPA on a 9.4 was $284. And this book is all over the place, let me tell you. I mean, I've seen it as low as 40 up to 150. As you can see right here, I actually have a 9.2, which I've upgraded a few times. But this is a really good book to have. I've definitely upgraded this, and I paid under $200 for 9.2. So
There you go.
yeah, I'm happy to have it. And
I'm surprised it's so low, to be honest with you. I mean, people. I even had a copy of this at one time. I mean, there's rumors that they want to use Supergirl. They want to get away from Superman. They want to use Supergirl on TV. They want to use. Bring her into the Supergirl show. But I also heard they want to use Supergirl as far as where the movies want to go.
Yeah.
Want to get away from Superman. They want to introduce Supergirl. So that's why you're getting this temporary hold, saying, "Hey, go ahead, throw it on." I would imagine it would be on the Supergirl show. That makes the
Right.
No, that makes sense. It makes the most sense for sure.
I mean, her kind of her relation to Superman is iffy at best. I don't know how to, how is that Krypton got destroyed and he has relatives popping up all over the place.
She's from Earth 2.
There you go.
So she's not even. I mean, she's related to him in Earth 2.
Yeah, she's part of the Justice Society of America, because that's obviously what the comic is. And they, was it Starman and Hourman, all those characters.
And we know Stargirl is coming. Stargirl is coming to the CW, I do believe, right? So we got Stargirl. So the CW's already established that
DC streaming service. So
yeah.
That's
They kind of already established multiple universes and multiple realities, right? Supergirl, especially on the CW, where Supergirl is in her own world, right? And she comes in every now and then, so they kind of cross-pollinate. And I would imagine they would do so on the DC Universe side, or Warner Brothers, whatever it's going to be called. So it's kind of interesting where they're going to go with all this. But that's it, man. That is our first long-term spec list. Top 10. So we're going to be calling this the LTS report, short for long-term spec. So we're going to sign off with that. No need for us to say our farewells. We just did. It seems like 10 minutes ago. But until next time, boys and girls, keep digging in them long boxes. Peace out.